Caleb, do me a favor. Throw some of those stats about Tennessee and offensive linemen that are drafted in the first round or not to Fred. And these are unbelievable, Fred. And the amount of time that Tennessee's had since an offensive lineman went as high as Darnell Wright went 10, and then offensive lineman under Philip Fulmer. Caleb, throw those at me because you blew me away this morning.
So, Fred, this shocked me because I found this out last night when Darnell Wright went 10th, which is he's the first rounder taken in the NFL draft at offensive line from Tennessee since Jawan James of 2014. Those are the only two since 1991 when Antoine Davis and Charles McRae went 7 and 8. It shocked me that during your era, during the Philip Fulmer era, the era of like offensive line you at Tennessee, not one lineman went in the first round of the NFL draft. Now, y'all had some great linemen in the NFL during that time. Don't get me wrong. But does that stat shock even you?
It does, because people like Cozy Coleman, Chad Clifton, Trey Teague, I think they could have had opportunities to be first-round draft picks. You look at Trey Smith, who dropped in the draft because of the situation with his health. He was a first-round draft pick, and he was the best lineman in the draft, if you ask me. But he didn't go first round. But I think the first-round thing is overhyped. You go back and you look at all the first-round picks and see how many of them last longer than 4 or 5 years. Then you go back and you look at guys who got drafted in 3rd, 4th, and 5th round and see how many of those guys lasted forever. It's just Tom Brady just retired. That's when he got drafted. It wasn't in the first round. So I look at those things and I say that first-round draft pick thing, yeah, you get the money initially up front, but everybody's playing for the second contract in the first place. I hate that we haven't had any, but we've had a lot of productive guys get drafted and play a long time in the offensive line. And if you played at UT, you still have that mystique of, hey, man, they always have some good offensive line, man. We always do. We put guys in the NFL, may not be first-round picks, but they get a chance to play and get a chance to have a long career.
Fred, how much does it help in recruiting to have a guy go number 10, to have a first rounder? I was talking to Jacob Warren about this yesterday, and I went back to his class when he signed with Tennessee. And Tennessee that year had a pick in the 3rd round and 2 picks in the 6th. Now they've got a first rounder. They're going to have a second rounder. They're going to have a 3rd rounder. In recruiting, how much does that help?
It helps that you're putting guys in the NFL. It shows it's a testament to what kind of talent you have on your program, in your program, also your coaching staff, and those are the things that make a difference. When you're going to a college, man, you want to make sure that they're getting guys developed and ready for the next level. You can come out of high school with all the talent in the world. You go to the wrong program, and they don't have a good program as far as getting guys ready to be developed, and you can get overlooked. That's why some guys get a chance to go 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round and last forever, that type of stuff. I think as a recruit, that they just had a first-round draft pick. Okay, he was talented, but also he had a good coach. It kind of gives you an opportunity to say, these are the things we're building here at Tennessee, and these are the opportunities you can have if you come to school here.
Now, let me ask you one other thing, Fred, second level of that question, because somebody could sit back and say an offensive line high, which has in recruiting.
I lost you for a second. You froze on me.
Oh,
Dave,
you there?
I think I'm here. Am I here? I'm sorry, Fred. If I still got you, okay. I'm having a little connection issue. Okay. So how much is men?
Yeah, Caleb. I think he froze again.
Look at his face. Oh man, I usually am the one who gets the bad faces when I freeze.
I'm gonna make the face like Dave.
Oh, no.
Guys, we apologize.
I don't know what
that face says.
Dave, your face is still frozen.
Okay, Okay, I'm first on my end. I look fantastic.
You know,
My
you know what your
apologies.
face was saying. You know what your face was saying, Dave. Don't
What
lay
is
a
that?
finger on my butterfinger.
I have to go. I have to go back and watch it. I think I'm good now. My apologies. Man, Travis says screen says don't do that. All right, so how much does it help that an offensive lineman goes that high? And Josh Heupel's offense, which some have called gimmicky, but you've got an offensive lineman, a big guy.
It helps with the big guys for sure, offensive lineman, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking to get guys that come in that can protect your quarterback and move the needle when it comes to the running game. However, I think it's more important when they get to the next level and they actually play good. That's when you have more. That's more of a value to you than it is for him just getting drafted first round. Getting drafted first round, yeah, that's great. That's a good thing for recruiting. But when you can show guys that are playing in the NFL and they're actually getting playing time and they're doing a good job, Trey Smith, um, Alvin Kamara, all these guys that have come out in the last few years that are playing and getting a chance to be on that football field in the NFL, that shows something too. That shows, okay, these guys are getting guys and putting them in the NFL, and they're also being developed enough to be able to get on the field in the NFL. That makes a difference. The guys you have in the NFL mean more than just getting a guy drafted.
Fred, it's funny. I'm glad you said what you said a little while ago because you sided with me inadvertently on a debate we had with Dave in the first round, which is, I think, and I want to know what your thoughts on this are. Is it more important to be drafted? I know the bank account's a little bit different depending on the round you go, but would you rather be drafted in the third round by the right franchise or in the first round by the wrong franchise?
That's a tough question to ask because that I don't know any guy who wouldn't want to be a first round pick. I wouldn't care who picked me. It could be the Grasshoppers. It wouldn't even matter. It could be the Tennessee Grasshoppers or the Chattanooga Roundabouts. Wouldn't even care who drafted me in the first round. If I'm a first round draft pick, I want that first round draft pick money. Period. So I mean, I think you're in a better situation sometimes if you get drafted later to the right team and the right scheme and those type of things. You may have a long career. You may have more opportunities to fail as well. But I think I'm gonna take the first round pick regardless. Anytime. I don't care if it's 1 or 32. I want the first round pick. Absolutely.
Fred, do you take any enjoyment in watching Will Levis drop like a rock like he did last night?
I don't like to see anyone get exploited like that. But I feel like that kid got exploited. I don't know who told him he was gonna be a first top 5 pick. I don't know what they were watching. I don't know what film they saw. If you're looking at quarterbacks and the quarterbacks that went in the top 5, right? Those guys, you can go back and watch a game that says that guy was the reason why they won the game, or that guy was the reason why they looked so good in this game. I can't find a game where Will Levis is the guy he's the reason why they won the game. I feel like the team was better because they had 2 good running backs, 2 hard-nosed running backs that kept the clock running, and you could do play action passes and those type of things. I've never seen Will Levis go out and win a game by himself, or I've never seen him have the things that Hendon Hooker has done. And if you're going to draft between those 2, I'm taking Hendon Hooker 10 times out of 10 over Will Levis. So I'm trying to figure out why is he such the guy that everybody's looking like, oh, well, he dropped. I thought it was a 3rd or 4th round draft pick in the first place, not a first rounder.
I agree. Caleb, do me a favor because I'm afraid to Google anything on my end. Who is Will Levis's agent? Because, Fred, I want to ask you this. I wonder if an agent can manipulate some of these things by selling him, say, I'll make you a first rounder, and then the Reddit post where supposedly he was going to be the number 1 pick. Can agents get involved and mess up guys on draft night?
I don't know. Possibly. But if a person like Mel Kiper Jr., I'm having to say, hey, man, he's been wrong so much, it's ridiculous. I mean, but I feel like he's on somebody's payroll. Somebody's agent is paying the crap out of him to hype some guys up who stink, period. So, I mean, that's how I look at it. If you're asking me, if I'm that analyst, I'm telling y'all, if you draft this kid if you expect him to be the day one starter or starter in his first 2 years, you won't have a good team. Plain and simple. He didn't do well. Like, he didn't do great at Kentucky. Come on, man. Can he make all the throws? Yes, he can make all the throws. Is he an athlete? Yeah, he is an athlete. I don't even know if I would have drafted Richardson from Florida that high. He hasn't played enough football. Mitchell Trubisky was the guy that comes into mind when you talk about Richardson. Mm-hmm. He had about the same amount of starts, and he's been a journeyman in the NFL ever since. So if you expect for a guy who hasn't played that much football at the quarterback position, I don't care how much talent he has, why would you draft the guy just on talent alone? Because the game is more than just talent. If you got to understand defenses, read schemes and coverages, understand when the linebackers dropping, understand when they're blitzing. He don't understand any of that stuff. Most of those plays he made was because of his athletic ability. I'll give him that. I'll give him that every day, all day. But he wasn't a Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson started for more than one season. He also had an offensive coordinator, offensive coach who understood the game in different ways. Now, Lamar's won an MVP already, but he stayed hurt ever since because you got to understand the game in a different way.
And just for the record, it's Creative Artist Agency is his agent, CAA.
Who's that?
Will Levis's agent is a Creative Artist Agency. It's a group, I guess. It's a company, not one person. CAA is Will Levis's agent.
I know CAA.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they put the word out there.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure that happens. CAA and Todd McShay and Mel Kiper have a really good relationship.
Oh, Fred dropping some juicy details.
If you go back and look at some of CAA clients, and you go back and you say how many of these guys that they talk great about when the draft was coming up, you know they had a good relationship.
Interesting.
I am loving this.